What's going on, guys? Man, it's Zuko here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys basically that I found a little bit of life with Luna character. I genuinely do like the character, and I wanted to see if there was any sort of way for me to kind of make her work. If there's a will, there's a way. And I've been able to find a little bit of life. I still think she's very weak, just because of the simple fact that she doesn't hit hard enough. And I'm gonna show you a few reasons why I think she's a weak character, even with all of what I'm about to show you being really, really good. But I just don't think that it's going to bring any value to a team in a bossing format. Only solo content, maybe, uh, maybe like a 1 minute and 30 clear, possibly. But as far as like Devar, you might be able to get a sub one with this. But in a team fight, she's have no usage whatsoever. But nevertheless, let's get straight into it. Basically, we have the piercing light here, non-attribute singular. We have non-attribute for the thingamajigger. I would actually recommend you run skill range. It's going to be really important because you're going to need range in order to do DPS. Actually, I already tried to solo every boss in the game that is possible to kind of see like how she sort of fits what's her style of play. Like if there's anything that would kind of peak to us, like, oh, that was strong, or oh, this is doing a lot. And I've been able to kind of give you what I'm going to give you here. I have both of her transcendent modules. I basically farmed gluttony over 50 times. I've got 50 completions with them right now, probably more than that actually. So we have a pretty decent set. You're going to need to run her set as well. I genuinely think Gluttony is a cakewalk of a boss. I don't think he's hard at all. If you're struggling against him, I'm honestly really shocked. Now, if you're a hater and you're struggling, I'm laughing at you. But if you're one of my subscribers and you're struggling, I feel bad for you. Hit me up in the comment sections and I'll go ahead and make a video, but only if you guys want it. If the community needs it, then I'll drop it. If not, then I'll just let you guys struggle. I've been doing sub twos on him. I don't think he's a hard boss at all. Anyways, moving forward, the set you're going to need to have is going to be defense here, basically a full set, and then you're going to need the actual max HP instead of the fire resistance. You're going to need the MP recovery. The shield recovery out of combat is what I'm running because I was trying to solo with her just to see if she would feel strong enough, and she felt really strong survivability wise. Like I wasn't getting in trouble as far as like health, but the DPS just was not there. Um, but you like that's kind of the sort of trend that I'm getting with her is that she just doesn't do enough DPS, and I was cross comparing her with other characters that don't have energy activated, see how they fared against them, and it seems like her survivability is through the roof, but her DPS is really really low. Now I'm gonna still show you a way to kind of power creep that, but if you didn't want to run the shield recovery out of combat, you could also run an MP max MP with the MP recovery in combat. That would technically be a really nice thing, but you need to run her set. You're gonna have to have gluttony done like a bunch of times in order to make her valuable. Without this set, she's not gonna be good. You're gonna need to have the shield recovery in combat, and you're also going to need to have the defense here because you're gonna need to have as much defense as possible with her, being that it'll actually make your shield stronger because she is definitely a shield character. You recover 50% of your shields anytime you proc your attack, and you can do that pretty much every 5 seconds. So that's really strong. Like if I'm already surviving content that I'm not supposed to, because her abilities are that strong whenever it comes to just getting that noise surge transcendent module, then that makes her decent enough to where there's life for the character here. I just think she just doesn't do enough damage. Her max HP is really nice too, but technically it doesn't really matter. Um, the max shields are really nice. You would want that, and then you want the shield recovery modifier. So this is technically the most you can do. I wish we could run all max shields because then she would be really strong, but without this set, you kind of suffer. But if you wanted to just go all max shields, I do have a set that does that. That gives me all the boost that I need. So again, the MP recovery in and max MP or shield recovery combat, and then all of the little boosts that I need, and all of the main stats are max shields. So I can basically get her to where she has up to like 800 shields, which is really really nice. So you can kind of go crazy with shields with this character, and it's all you really need. You'd never be able to go down. Now, as far as the build here, just giving you a quick sort of example of why we have everything on. We're running this because she doesn't have skill cooldowns whenever you have a noise surge on. As you can see here, no cooldown whatsoever. Her 2, 3, or 4. Her 1, you should never not be in this mode. Because in order to do any of your skills, you have to sit in this, and this is not only her strength, but this is also her weakness, meaning the biggest weakness of this character compared to characters like Bunny, which is the reason why she will never be able to get into half of the damage that Bunny does, is because Bunny can do twice as much damage as she does. And Bunny, so basically, Bunny hits twice as hard as her, and Bunny can't control her tick rate, making her tick rate faster. Luna's tick rate is extremely bad. However, you can at least make it to where you're giving yourself some sort of power out of it. So she's automatically weaker than Bunny because Bunny hits harder, twice as hard, and then Bunny has a much faster tick rate that she can control with her movement and whatnot, right? So a way to make her stronger. Another thing is Bunny can do all of that while she actually has a weapon in her hand, so she's able to use her weapon to give her more DPS. So again, even more power creep. With her, Luna, you're exclusively a skill power character, which is the reason why I said everything I said in that first video. She's the weakest character in this game because she's the only character that is technically a support character that can't use the rest of the game mechanics, like guns, for example, while using her skills. For example, Eugen actually gives the same boost that she gives outside of her noise surge to the team for the most part. And he can actually use his weapon, and he actually can do it all passively and just proc his skills, when people are near him or whatever. So it makes Eugen valuable to a team. She has no value to a team by herself without the noise surge perk, so it just doesn't work. So with noise surge, it makes it to where you have value to yourself, but no value to your team. But even whenever you take this off, you have no value to your team because it just doesn't work. Like MP recovery, there's no need to run all of that. There are perks in the game that give you that, so that's not important. The little power increase, sure, it could be cool, but there are characters in the game that give you that are just better. Eugen, for example. So you won't want to run that, which means in order to make her good, you have to have her noise surge perk. You can't run it without it. Honestly, I'm sorry to tell you, but that's just the simple truth of it all. You can't run it without it. And then you're gonna want to run both of these maximize here. This is going to give you, compared with this, a 95% damage increase technically. And then this here, this skill power modifier is going to go all the way up to 96. As you can see here, 96 with no downside. So it's a huge boost. How many 96 can you fit into 144? Again, 144, 144. How many 96 can you fit into that? You kind of get the idea. The cool thing as well is that whenever you actually get this little thing here, sort of all the way up to 26 stacks, you can basically add another 26 to this little 96. So again, getting closer to around 100% damage increase there. And this multi-talent actually does work. I thought it wouldn't work, being that she does 9 attribute damage, but it actually does count. It brings you from hitting for like 17k to 9.5. So that's a nice little damage boost there to say that you're not hitting very hard. And since this will always happen, you'll never have downtime on this, so you're always going to have this up. It's just straight up damage boost. So why not take it? You can't really run many other things else. And she kind of comes with those sockets there. So that's cool. So as far as what these skills do, they basically all give you an additive boost. So to kind of make it make sense, what it's not doing is her natural crit rate is actually 15%. It's not going to take 26% of your 15 and then add it to the 15. And what it's also not going to do, it's not going to take, let's say if you're here and you have this number here, it's not going to take this 46 and then take 26% of that 46 and then add it to the 46. No, what it's doing is it's actually straight up taking the number of whatever your crit rate is and just adding 26% crit rate. So this is actually really, really strong because plus 26 crit rate is really strong, which means now you can make it to pretty much where everything crits. So while I was doing my testing with to see if I can find some life, what I basically did is I was like, okay, well, let's see how strong this is. Let me make sure they don't take damage. All right, cool. So just look at my crit rate naturally. As you can see, not bad, right? Being that we're running all of these here. Now you'll see kind of as these sort of go up. All right. See how much higher that crit rate is getting? You can tell that this is not giving you anything other than plus 26. So right now we're getting closer to the 26. Look at this. You can tell that is not anything other than like that 46 getting a 26 increase for how hard this is hitting, right? I mean, for how much it's critting. So you're looking at possibly a always crit build. So whenever I saw this, I was like, okay, we have life. Now the cool thing about it is you can actually do this, increase your critical hit damage, right? And then switch to this one to keep your 26 up. So now you can see that 26 little note there. We have that boost kind of going on. And then you can put this on and then go back to this one, right? So that's basically your sort of thing there. As you can see, you have both of these boosts up, which allows for you to, again, keep both of these boosts kind of going on. So again, you can increase your critical hit rate. Now, as you can see by the damage numbers, you can tell that it's an additive to your crit rate damage. So it's just actually adding 26. So again, think of it like whatever this number is at 26. So it's at 3. add 2, and then add 6. So like basically 56, 256 basically. Um, so that's nice. So you will want to do that. So you can actually have all 3 of these buff up at once because you can actively build each and every one of them at the same time. So you can give yourself the plus 26 skill power modifier. You can give yourself the plus 26 crit damage, and then you can give yourself the plus 26 crit rate. And that's why I want to say plus, because it's actually just straight up a additive value. So you're not multiplying by anything. Nope, additive everything, which is really strong because she doesn't hit very hard. So this gives her life as far as mobbing purposes, because now if you kind of do all of the crit mods here, so we have the 3 on now. If I had an energy activator, I could basically show you how much of an increase that this would be. If you were to add in the crit damage one here, so that would be technically really strong. Just kind of go ahead and do it like this. Skill concentration. So this should technically be, again, what you could expect if you had all of them on. Just pretend the crit rate was high. So about a 3.6 crit rate there. Now, you go ahead and see, just kind of give yourself an idea of the numbers that you can expect here. Again, 18 to 67, that's not bad. To say that we don't have any of the other stuff I'm about to show you on it. So again, possible. Alright, so cool. So we have all these buffs kind of going on. Then we're going to go ahead and try and keep these up here. So this is kind of like your gameplay loop. Right? As you can see here, you're kind of able to cycle between all of these here as much as you possibly can. So that's not a bad thing. So this makes it to where, again, if you kind of, micromanage all of these, you'd be able to kind of give yourself like a really good sort of style of boost here where you can kind of keep all of these up. And if you're ever wanting to get an enhanced skill really, really fast, you can basically just go ahead and go straight to your 4 because it has the fastest tick rate. So as you can see, you can have all of these up at the same time. Now, there's one weakness of this that I want to see the devs do to give her a quality of life change is I want it to where if you have your enhanced version, so let's say we wanted to basically, we built enough bars to get like close to 10 here orbs. And so now we have 10 stacks of our 2. If you press your enhanced skill for your 3, you need to start building stacks for that one as well, but it doesn't work like that, right? So that's a weakness because instead of you just getting the little 3, I wanted to actually, every single hit we get, like as if it's the actual thing, we're actually building that. So that way you can keep all of these up just a little bit easier. So I think that would make her just a little bit stronger because you have to use a little bit too much MP because you would not be able to do what I'm showing you now without this set. The set really does help without that. Really does help with that. So again, really strong buffs that you can do if you just run 4 crit mods. So I would honestly recommend running all 4 crit mods with her because you'd basically be able to get close to like again 46 plus 26 there. That's pretty nice. I would recommend that. As far as what you want to do damage wise, you would need all of these again. So when you pair the 4 crit mods with this here, you're looking at some decent damage. I'm not gonna lie. As far as like mobbing purposes, you'd be able to get to round 10 and like still be able to like 2-tap everything whenever it comes to like the little trash mobs. So that's not bad. Looking at possibly like 500k damage from one of those little thingies. So not bad. I would honestly say, that's a nice boost. The problem is money hits like literally like twice as hard and her tick rate is much faster. So I think this gives her a life though, to where it warrants you wanting to play the character. If you want to play the character, this is something to do with her. I would recommend the increased shields because as you can see here, you get 50% of your shields back and you get 50% of your MP back the moment you proc any enhanced skill, which is again the reason why I say devs, I think you need to make it to where whenever you're in this enhanced version, since it has a huge weakness of you can't dodge, you can't jump, and you can't cancel it, and you move very, very slow, trying to use this against a boss has gotten me killed pretty much every single time because you can't stop the animation, which is a huge weakness. So because that's a innate downside weakness to the move, make it to where whenever she procs that move, she automatically gives herself either 14 of whichever one you went enhanced into, or every single hit that you get while you're in that mode gives you another stack of the boost, right? So I think that's a quality of life change there. But technically speaking, these are all nice damage boosts here. What I would also want to see is you guys increase this number from 144 to 300. then she could be good. And the reason why is because again, Bunny can do more damage than her right now, and she can actually use a weapon like the Thunder Cage or whatever to actually make her stronger. The problem with her as a character is your weapons don't mean anything because you can't use your weapons if you're trying to play her. She's just a skill power character, which means there's no power creep, there's no weapon like the Enduring Legacy that can make her solo. Like Freyna, for example, a trash character, but she can at least be able to use a weapon that could be god tier that can make her to where she can now do a run sub 10, sub 30 seconds, something like that, right? The weapon is doing that for the character, which means if you love the character, then hey, just get yourself a go-to weapon, socket the weapon, and then now you can use the character for free. It's not like that with Luna, making her even worse. So if she's going to be exclusively a skill power character, then you need to make it to where this thing hits about the same as Enzo does. I mean, not Enzo, as Esimo does. So 400, 300, somewhere around there. She needs to have twice as much damage as Bunny does because Bunny can make her tick rate faster. She really can't outside of you just using your 4. So if you're trying to build up your bars as fast as possible to try and get the enhanced skill, you technically would want to do your 4 the most. But
let the show begin. Awesome! I feel amazing. This is the high point.
right, and then you could do like that, right? So again, that could make it to where you have both of those buffs up at once there.
This will be fun. Let's pump it up. Enjoy yourself. Feel the rhythm. Enjoy yourself.
See, and this is the reason why I say it's a little bit of an issue because it makes it to where you really have to kind of like babysit these again.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Awesome. Let's pump it up. Let's go.
See, nevertheless, still, you know, it's nice because she basically becomes closer to like kind of a guaranteed crit sort of character. So again, when you have all of this stuff upgraded, I do see that hitting for a possibly around 700k, 500 to 700k, which is not bad. It's just again, Bunny can do that and do twice as much damage as that. Bunny can crit for like 1.2 mil without high voltage, and with high voltage, you're going to be hitting for like 5 to 7 mil. You kind of see the difference, right? And she controlled that tick rate on top of the fact using god tier weapons that just make that even stronger. So I think this gives her life. So if you're wanting to play the character, we now have something to work towards. So again, run the 4 crit mods basically here. Run increased shields here. You don't have to run the other one. It's just only going to give you like a 6% UCR. Just put it in here. So as you can see here, HP conversion 158. This is 151. So not too bad. So there's no need for you to run this and lose the HP. So if you do get your shields broken, then you just kind of get that back. So you have more HP to play with since the set kind of comes with this. I would recommend the increased shields here. And then for this one, I would actually recommend not socketing this. So that way you can leave it open for, let's say if you wanted to sort of switch this in with the amplification control. So that way you can run something else. Or if you want to put more range into your character, then you'd be able to do that here. Another thing that you'd be able to do, just kind of, you know, sort of saying here, so let's say you don't want to run the increased shields and you want to run the amplification control if you're going against mobs, since you're going to be able to recover all your shields anyway. This allows for you to kind of use some of these other ones here to just give yourself just a little bit more, you can run even more skill speed or range increase, even though this is not actually going to affect her there. Run whatever you might want, even though again, she's always going to be a character where like it's going to be like that. So what I would recommend you do is I'd actually recommend you socket this and then leave your increased shields as the open slot, so you can get more from this, which means now you can put in this amplification control in here, you can put in this skilled expansion in here, you can put in this another shield, you can put this spear and shield in here, you can put honestly the singular master in here, you can put alright, will in here. As you can see, like you just have more room to kind of work with here. So I would recommend for crit mods, put the little R rutile and then put your increased shields, I mean not increased shields, your whatever else you may want in here. And then for this one, just leave it open as your whatever. So put your increased shields right here as a non-socketed one, and then just max this out. Socket this, socket all of these, and then just leave this one open. And then you'd be looking at having a lot more freedom. Since you're going to need to run one of these here if you wanted to, you can't really put that in there. But let's say if you wanted to lose this one here and then just add this one in, let's say if you're not really doing that, then again, it just makes more sense to put a root tile here and then leave your cerulean as your open slot there. So that's pretty much that there for you. Um, After all of that kind of being there, I really wish there was a way for us to kind of like test out builds without us having to grind everything out. Because I would want to see what the damage numbers look like before I go more into the character. But I'm just simply stop playing the character now. I just don't think she's gonna be strong enough, even with the the nice high critical hit rate. Uh, Basically, I believe would be some of the strongest crit rate in the game. Um, for a skill, she obviously needs it, being that she can't do anything else. That's really nice. So technically not a bad thing. Another thing you could do is, if you're trying to just give yourself just a little bit more power creep, you could run tech specialist instead of this if you're trying to make the gun stronger. But I would honestly say just play off of these singular skills, being that it kind of gives you a lot of bang for your buck here. And that's pretty much that there. And yeah, that's Luna for you, man. Cool little character.
Let's go.
Look like my ex, so she fine as heck. You know how to move too, but it's up to y'all if y'all want to play her or not. This is basically the most that I can kind of think of. I'm not going to go fish for it. Someone else can, and if you can get a sub 1 with her against even like Digimon Devour, the weakest boss in the game, then I might be even tempted to sort of play her. But I'm pretty much done with this character. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, bro. Izuko, we out. Peace.